This device will help keep your Canon R50 from overheating. Now the Canon R50 is one of my favorite cameras, but unfortunately it is prone to overheating, meaning if you shoot lots of photos or lots of video, especially in the highest mode, so for photo that would be a lot of raw photos, and for video that would be shooting in HDR at 24p or 30p, then you're going to be pushing your camera to more and more extremes, meaning you're going to get a little thermometer pop up at the back of your camera telling you that your camera is getting hot. If it gets too hot, the thermometer will turn red and the camera will cut off. Now we also need to understand that the camera does have an inbuilt 100-minute record limit as well, but if you're going to get anywhere up to 100 minutes, you're doing pretty well with your camera, so I think that's actually a pretty good recording limit. This device was not sent to me by Moman, I brought it myself, and there are other devices available as well. Small rig make one, which is closer to £50, and this Moman one was around £25 on Amazon. When you get the device, it comes in a fairly nondescript box. Inside the box there is a pretty lengthy USB-C cable. There are a bunch of different trays, and you slot the fan base unit into the different tray. On those trays you're going to see different camera models. This is currently slotted into the Canon R50 model. Then you flip open your flip screen on your camera and you slot this in. It fits fairly securely, but if you did give your camera a good shake or it got bumped, it would slide out. Also, you want to be aware that once this is in, you cannot shut the flip screen. If you shut the flip screen quite habitually like I do, you might want to be very careful because you do not want to snap your flip screen with this attached. Now the device itself has two fans built into it, and it's got two modes. It's got a standard mode and a high powered mode. It's rated for 60 to 120 minutes of runtime, though when I did my tests I got a little bit just below that. Although there are a lot of caveats in these testing, I'm testing in the UK in fairly cold weather, and when I did a lot of my heat tests I was doing it in quite extreme conditions as well. I was essentially just doing a hotbox in my car, whacking the heating up as full as it would go, and it was sweltering hot, and I was just doing a stress test to see how well it performed. The first thing I noticed when I put this device into the camera was the noise of the fan. Now, I've not got a device to measure if the 26 decibel rating is right or not, but you will need to be very careful of that, and later on in the video I'll do a little sound test with a mic on top of the camera to see if it affects it. At the moment I'm using a wireless mic, and if you're going to have some distance from the camera then it shouldn't be too bad, but it is there and it is audible. And if you're an amateur creator or just getting your first camera and you're going to be getting a mic that sits on top of your camera, there is a chance you might be picking up that fan noise. But we'll do a test and I'll give you a little tip on how you could navigate that as well. The first set of tests I did were the hot tests in the car. So the heating was up full, it was really hot. I got 10 minutes out of the camera. Again, I'm shooting at 24p in HDR mode, so this is one of the more powerful modes in the camera. I then left the camera outside of the car, took all the memory cards and batteries out, let it cool down for about half an hour, and then attached the fan, and I got another 10 minutes. I was actually quite impressed with this. I think I had 12 minutes and then a further 10 minutes afterwards. I'm going to put the exact times on screen as well. One of my failures in my testing was obviously leaving it half an hour for the camera to cool down wasn't really enough time. I'd probably leave it a good 3 hours next time. Honestly, I really think it needs that amount of time. I was very impressed that the fan was able to get that amount of time out of it though, considering it was in such a hot condition. The next test I did was I put it in high powered mode and I got similar sort of result. I do think I would get better results if I was to put the fan on from the camera being cold, and I think I would get better results. The next test I did was in more favourable conditions at around 18 degrees, so just normal standard UK temperature, and this was all done in the house as well, so it's just standard room temperature. So without the fan, the thermometer come in about 30 minutes. With the fan, we got up to like 48 minutes before we even got any warnings. So the fan definitely did its job. After 60 minutes, the camera hit its record limit and stopped. A massive thing to note here is that the actual camera will not record the save file if it hits that 60-minute mark. So make sure you're hitting that save before you get to that 60-minute mark. So the fan is definitely having a really positive effect. And not only that, when the thermometer came on, it didn't go into the orange or the red zones either. Once it had got to about 48 minutes in, that temperature just didn't move. So the fan definitely works. In summation, I think it's a very neat fan. The battery power is pretty good. It seems to be about what they rate it for. But the thing you need to be most careful of is that audible fan noise. And we're going to do a test right now to see if you can hear it or not. So we're going to switch the mics over. Okay, so now we have swapped the mics over. So I was using a Rode wireless microphone, but now I've switched to an on-camera microphone. And I'm going to stay silent for 5 seconds, and you can let me know if you can hear the fan in mode 1. Now we're going to switch the fan to mode 2. Okay, so could you hear the fan in any of those results? We did a mode 1 and a mode 2 test. Could you hear the fan? Did it bother you that much? Let me know in the comments. If you can hear the fan, all is not lost. There are a few things you can do. One is a bit more technical and the other one is really easy. One is you can set like a noise gate, or essentially set a frequency at which any annoying frequency can be cut off and you'll still hear your voice. As long as those frequencies are below your voice, you can cut them out entirely. It's a bit more complicated and I would have to do a full breakdown of it. Alternatively, if you're using Adobe Premiere Pro, you can use their Podcast AI software. You drop your sound file on there and it will digitally voodoo it and it will sound great. It will cut out all of that background noise for you. And I do this a lot. I find sometimes doing this, the audio can come back out a little bit flat, so I do a little bit of tinkering in the edit suite, but other than that, it's a really simple and effective method to use. If you're not using those programs, there may be some other methods, or you could invest in a wireless mic. I use Rode, and if you went for the original Rode model, you could probably pick it up quite cheap now, but there are lots of wireless microphones on the market. If you found this video useful, let me know in the comments. If you're using the fan, I'd really like to know how you're getting on with it. If you're a brand that thinks you can outdo this fan, I'd be really curious, and if you want to send them to me, that would be awesome. Don't forget everybody, I have a full review of the Canon R50 coming very soon, so hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and stay tuned because it's going to be a good one. See you later.